For this task, we're going to be in the back of an A400M Atlas aircraft.
The patient has got ill. The cannula has blown.
I'm not a nurse by any stretch.
Mayday, 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 Vortex 610, mayday, we've got a gearbox failure.
This is Beyond the Blue, where people in the Royal Air Force swap jobs for a day, looking beyond the uniform to see that it really is no ordinary job.
Hi mate, how you doing? It's Hez.
Ads, nice to meet you. Who are you and what do you do?
I'm Tez. I'm an infection prevention control nurse, so I look after all the sort of potential infections we have going around in the Air Force. How about you?
I'm Adam. I'm an air traffic controller by trade. I'm currently instructing Phase 2 trainees at RAF Shawbury.
For this task, we're going to be working in the back of an A400M Atlas aircraft, and we're going to be flying at the time. So this is a large cargo plane. So the main goal of this task is getting into the air transportable isolators, connecting suits. This is going to be while we're flying, and he's going to have to do a manual dexterity task where he moves a metal ring around a wire track without setting off the alarm, and this is to simulate the manual dexterity tasks we would normally have to do with a patient inside the isolator. We'll have the air transport isolator strapped to the floor so it won't move, but the aircraft around him is going to be in motion, it's going to be vibrating, it's going to be noisy, so it's going to be a difficult environment to work in. When setting up for this task, we'll take the air transportable isolator over to the aircraft. Then, as part of the team, we're going to load it onto the aircraft and secure it down onto the floor. Everything that flies in an aircraft has to be correctly secured. This will be checked with the air load masters once our team has done it, and then Ads will be going into his individual task of trying to get the wire around the track. What was your life like before you joined the RAF?
I worked at Morrison's as my job before this, which my mum got me. I used to work in the processed meat aisle, but I mucked around a lot, so I got put on the till so they could keep an eye on me. But yeah, it was that point when I was like, this is ridiculous, what are you doing? So I went to the AFCO and joined the Air Force.
What do you do at the weekends?
Go home where I can to spend time with my wife and my little boy. My dog, we do a lot of walking, a lot of outdoor stuff. He's very much into his aeroplanes. He likes to come and watch me learn to fly, which I do at the local little airfield. So, but yeah, it's family time mostly.
Oh, brilliant. How do you unwind after work?
A beer. I do like a nice cold beer. I'm a bit of a quiet man myself, so I do like a bit of peace and quiet.
I totally understand that.
Yeah, generally a lot of people play music in the car, but if I'm driving home back to Lincolnshire after a hard day's work, I just sit and listen to the car.
A400 on stand 6-4 with 18 persons on board. 80 seconds, cockpit QNH10005 requesting engine start IFR to Aberdeen.
Once the air transportable isolator is loaded onto the aircraft, we set up a clean dirty line. Normally, anyone who crosses the clean dirty lines will only be the clinicians that are qualified and experienced to do so. Everyone else stays the other side of the line, so we've got plenty of room to work and there's no accidents. What about soft skills then? What do you reckon you bring to your team?
Soft skills?
Soft skills, yeah.
What's a soft skill?
We do this a lot in nursing, so soft skills say, I mean, if I read this the way I think I do, so there's, I can teach you to put needles into someone, I can teach you how to calculate drugs, but I can't really teach you compassion.
Yeah, I think so. Emotional intelligence, effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we having students who sometimes are 19, 20. We keep the door open and encourage them to tell us about things so that we can work on it with them and help them, and then they can focus back on the course when they're better, effectively.
What's been the greatest sort of challenges in your career?
I think the main one for me is the first deployment away from my son. That was hard. Different to the other ones, I've been away a lot before, but having that other aspect at home, especially when he was aware that I was not there, that was hard.
How old was he when you deployed?
He was 2.
Okay, so
on my last deployment. So so he was definitely aware that Daddy wasn't there. So being away and not being able to see him and give him a cuddle, it was just ridiculous. So the guys on the deployment really helped me. There was a couple of other guys there that were in the same predicament as me. and just talking about it, just that support network within my team, they looked after me. I mean, I was in charge, but they very much looked after me, and I tried to reciprocate that as best I could.
So how do you think you're going to do at the task?
I don't know. I'm okay with blood, and I'm okay with my medical things, knowledge to an extent, but it depends what you got in store for me. I'm not a nurse by any stretch, so...
You're a dad though.
I'll give it a good go. I'm a dad, yes.
So, we're inside the ATI. Our patient would be in here, feet down here, head up there. Assuming now the scenario is the patient has got ill, the cannula has blown. We don't do anything on our own, so I'd be your assistant. So, you're going to be replacing the cannula. To simulate that, we've got a wire task, so it gives you the problem of doing a manual dexterity task through all of the plastic. So obviously you can't touch the patient because they've got an infectious disease. Okay, so as I'm your assistant, I'm going to set this up for you.
No worries, might be a bit
ready
tricky.
when you're ready.
I'm ready, mate, let's do it.
Okay, off we go. This is really good. So you'd have all your equipment in place already.
Oh.
Bouncing around a bit, which is absolutely what would happen in real life. Even shaking, which the patient might be shaking, either just from being unwell, or
I can't see because of the
okay?
condensation.
Getting hot.
Right.
There you go.
There we go. I need to. There we go.
Okay, here we go. That's excellent. So at this point, someone else is giving oxygen, someone else is talking to the patient, telling them what we're doing. We've got a scribe outside there writing down everything. Good little rest there. That is perfectly realistic. There are little breaks in the procedures we can have just for a second. Take that moment to get your composure. Oh, we've got a little bump there. Doing really well. And boom, you're in. Cannula secure, we can give the drugs. Nicely done.
Very tricky.
Okay. They give us the okay, step back over, clean dirty line. We go for a rest.
I need one after that. I need a bottle of water to rest. That's crazy.
Okay, final approach config. It's locked.
Oh, are we down? Couldn't even feel it on the back, mate. Was that a nice smooth one, was it? Lovely.
33 is on stop 6-4 shut down.
What or who inspired you to join the RAF?
My granddad was a surgeon and he served during World War II.
Okay.
And that's where he met my nan, and both of them served in the Air Force. I also was in the Air Cadets for quite a while, so it had been in the back of my mind, but I actually joined late. I was about 28 years old when I first joined the Air Force.
Okay. What was the greatest challenge you have faced within your career?
There's been a lot. It's been very up and down. I actually left the Air Force once. I originally joined as RAF Regiment. If I'm brutally honest with myself, I don't think I was fit enough at that time, physically strong enough to do the course. And I think in the back of my head, I knew I wasn't really suited to the RAF Regiment. I didn't really 100% want to be there, which just makes it even harder. Mm-hmm. It was quite a difficult decision at the time, and I think I decided to leave the course just before I was pushed. And that was a very difficult time. Eventually I left the course and then I looked to retrade, and that's when I changed over to being a nurse.
The task that Tez is going to do is he's going to control aircraft in the visual control room, the VCR. The goal is to safely provide the aircraft with control so that there's no incidents. The biggest challenge of that task will be multitasking. As a controller, you have to be good at doing two, maybe sometimes three things at once. You won't be alone as a tower controller, you'll have a ground controller and an assistant with you as well. You work as a three-person team. and constantly talking to each other and knowing what the other person is up to is crucial to avoid any incidents. We're going to incorporate a few surprises for him, which will be dictated by myself and the drivers of the simulator, and it's going to be very, very busy, so we'll see how he copes. This is the basic visual representation of the Cotton airfield that you will be working at. Initially, you'll be in the tower seat, so your call sign will be Cotton Tower. I'll be assisting you as the ground controller, so I'll be Cotton Ground. Okay, initially, I'm going to be talking to the aircraft as the ground controller and getting them taxiing to the runway, where you'll be taken over as the tower controller. Are you happy with the safety checks?
Yep, so before anything goes on my runway, it's my runway, it's check the runway's clear on my pinboard, it's check the actual visual runway, then check my lights are on red, and depending on whether it's a hawk or not, is the barrier up or down.
Excellent, let's do it. How'd you unwind?
I was a massive geek as a kid, and I've always been into gaming, so it's like that's a real escape to get into do a little bit of gaming. And if not, well, it's like a good film or TV series or something like that, and sit and play with a dog, curl up on the sofa, that sort of just nice chilled out evening.
So what's your family life like outside the RAF?
So I'm married. I met my husband just as I was rejoining the Air Force, so I kind of came as a package deal. It's pre-agreed that like, yeah, okay, here I am, but also I'm rejoining the RAF, so you know what it's like, I'm going to be away.
Yep.
But we've made it work. Sometimes it's been hard, sometimes it's been great. Like my husband's come along to quite a lot of the military events. We've been to dining in nights. There's a celebration every year at London Pride. The armed forces always get the biggest cheers and claps as we march through that, and I've done that several times. My husband's come along with me and he plays water boy, make sure we don't pass out on parade. It's really nice to feel like, yeah, I'm part of the RAF, and it really makes you feel part of the RAF, but also like there's this subculture that recognises like my family life, which is slightly different to some other people. And actually everyone celebrates that and enjoys that, and like it's just about the people, isn't it? It's looking after each other, and it's just another way of looking after people.
How do you think you're going to do at the task?
What am I going to be doing?
Control airplanes, and we'll try not to make them crash.
I'll try.
Try. I'll teach you.
We don't, medical don't tend to work on the airfield very much.
No,
so
but we do have medics in the simulator.
Oh, okay.
We do. Little medic van comes along if there's a crash.
Oh, yeah.
There will be a crash, trust me.
Hopefully not caused by me.
So the scenario is, we've got Charlie Tango Hotel 45, he's a Hawk, he's currently at the hold at Alpha, ready to depart for runway 25. Happy?
Happy.
Good stuff. I'll send him across to you now. So we're constantly looking at the runway just to make sure no one or no thing has gone on your runway.
Line up the hold, ready for departure.
Line Roger, continue with Cotton Tower, start 2. To depart.
Line Roger, start 2.
Okay, so I've got traffic lights set to red, net is down, next typhoon, so that's fine. My runway
Line 1 check. Cotton Tower, good morning, line up here, typhoons, ready at the hold, ready for departure.
Line 1, Cotton Tower, surface wind 27509, clear for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, line.
Of course, we only refer to the number when they split and they become two separate entities, but as a formation, we just call them the line.
Okay. Charlie Tango, Tango 84, line up. And hold and wait.
That's it.
Charlie 31, surface wind 27508. Vortex 610, surface wind 27508, cleared for takeoff and cross. So, safety checks. Suddenly getting busy now, isn't it? I'm forgetting stuff. Falcon 1, continue with departures, Cotton departures, stud 6. Charlie 31, go around.
Good option.
Lion, continue with Cotton departures on stud 6.
Charlie 31, Roger. Also, that's him shut down. That means we no longer have to talk to him. I think that's weird traffic.
Mayday, 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 Vortex 610, mayday, we've got a gearbox failure.
So, mayday is bad, okay? So he's calling an emergency. So if we call the crash phone, so if you hit the crash on your screen.
Emergency state 1, Chinook, 4 persons on board, gearbox failure at the load park.
Any questions on that?
Nope, wasn't expecting that.
And then basically, once we've done that, we de-stress and let the crash crews get on with it. Happy?
Real, yeah, happy.
Good stuff. It's a very awkward bit of kit, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. There you go. Super awkward. That looks cool.
That does look cool. I'm glad I remembered how to do the seatbelt up.
Getting told off for blowing in the
Told
glove.
off that bit. It doesn't look like there's a lot going on, but I'm thinking a lot.
Yeah, you've got your concentrating face on.
Absolutely. It looks really simple in the video, but it's not at all. There was a hell of a lot of concentration going on. I think you could tell in my face as well that I was making sure that every ounce of my concentration was going into that task. So the fact that I was really hot, I was sweaty, the aircraft was moving, it was noisy. Communication is hard within the aircraft between the team. Tez was shouting instructions at me, but sometimes sorry, I can't hear you. You know, so it's a tricky environment to work in.
So in the medical world, everything is teamwork. You're particularly on the air transportable isolator, you're never working alone. I was in position stabilising the bottom of it for him. Didn't necessarily need to talk to him because I could read what was going on in his head and what he was doing just from his actions.
When I needed it, Tez was there to support me with, you know, when I took a break, he was like, well done, you know, it's a good point to take a break, natural point. Something that I'll take back to my role within air traffic is not take simple tasks for granted. I thought I was going to smash the task pretty simply. It's a simple task, I did it as a kid. But again, you throw in all those environmental aspects that you're not used to, makes it tricky. So Tez will put the patient first, and in air traffic we do that as well because we have to keep the aircraft safe, so we might have 5, 6, 7 aircraft on at the same time. So my ultimate goal is to keep those aircraft safe because there could be a Voyager with 300 people on board, and I don't want to weld that with another aircraft that's got 200 people on board. So my goal is to keep everybody that I'm talking to safe. So I think that's both the roles are very similar in that aspect.
You worked really well as part of a team straight away. You were clear when you were speaking to me what you were doing. I liked how you worked not just with me but with the rest of the infection control nurses, in that like you let them help you get in and out of the suit. You didn't sort of like be, no, I can do this on my own, which sometimes we get. It felt like you were just like, no, actually, like I know this is completely alien to me, but I'm going to get on with it. I'm going to give it a try. I think that really benefited you. We practice with the air transportable isolator several times a year, and every time we do that, we bring together a team, and it's rarely the same team throughout the whole of the exercise. Pretty much, we're on first name terms, and it's really important because everyone has a completely different skill set in our team. We've got engineers which are normally around the AS1 corporal rank, and they'll be telling the wing commanders what to do. I've seen some great examples of that, where I've got 3 wing commanders and a squadron leader strapping down the air transportable isolator, and I've got a corporal shouting, because it's very noisy on the aircraft, at them, telling them what to do. It's great fun to watch it.
Yeah, regardless of rank, if you're deploying, you as an AS1 or a group captain still have to go through the same processes to get out to that theatre. And then when you're in theatre, you may have different roles and jobs, but you're still open to that environment and that world that you're in. So shared experiences, I think, is a big thing.
I think everyone in the forces has a close relationship with their co-workers because of our culture in the armed forces, and not just in the United Kingdom, but all across NATO and all of our partner nations. We all look after each other, and we treat each other with respect, as it should be.
Exactly the same. Involving everybody equally, using their knowledge. Same in the air traffic world, you don't really know who you're talking to, you don't know what they've done, you don't know what their experiences are. So find out before you judge.
I've had the opportunity over the years to work with people from all over the United Kingdom, from all classes, races, identities, everything, and from all over the world. And people are just fascinating. And it's one of the reasons I like to nurse. We get to, sometimes when we've got time, have conversations with people. Someone's always got a story to tell. And learning about people like that, learning what makes people tick, learning how people live their lives is something that's really important to me in my job.
It's a lot of concentration there.
Yeah. Did not have a clue what I was saying.
But you knew when you were getting it wrong though.
Yeah.
You could tell. Self-debrief.
Net is down, traffic lights are on. Okay, so
it's good because you're verbalising your safety checks.
Mayday, 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 Vortex 610, mayday, we've got a gearbox failure.
Timing.
Looking at that, I feel like I'm stuttering and stammering all over the place. It felt like there was massive gaps, and then suddenly it was really busy and there's massive gaps, and I can see myself under pressure, like just even trying to pick out the right words.
Yeah, stuttering's just natural when you've been thrown into a brand new job for the first time within the hour. So I think you did exceptionally well, to be honest.
Oh, when I walked into that training and they started talking through and using the terminology, visual circuit and people coming in for touch and goes and lining up, I was just sort of like, I don't understand what half these words even mean. I think the first thing I learned is an appreciation for the air traffic world. We do interact with them in the medical world, particularly when we're trying to move our patients in and out. I'm very aware now how much work that creates for our colleagues in air traffic. Second thing, I think communication is so key, and in the air traffic world, it's so specific. And I remember being told, only say what you need to say, keep it brief, keep it concise, keep it succinct. I think the third thing is the teamwork. So when they're sat right next to you and you're getting that instant feedback, it is really helpful, and that's something I'd definitely like to take into my world.
I think two things that you did really well. The first thing is your self-awareness. There wasn't many times where I corrected you that you hadn't already kind of made a grimace or and just the way that you took in the knowledge. The drivers at the back ramped it up to be busier because you were doing so well. So that reflects how good you did.
Even from the first interview, I wasn't really sure what to expect. It feels very weird to suddenly be talking about your career, your personal life, how you've got to where you are in a very sort of strange environment with quite a few people looking at you that no one else can see. So it felt a bit strange, but both on and off camera, that conversation continued, and actually it was kind of forces you to very quickly get to know someone a bit and sort of a bit about them and what they're like.
I thought it was a really good way of kind of jumping in the deep end and getting to know someone. I think that was a good icebreaker. I think Tez and I are both very professional. We both care for our families, but we also love our job, and we value teamwork.
Yeah, I think there's a few things, particularly we're both in training roles effectively, and we both invest in people. I think we both like to sit down and have a beer and a coffee as well.
Absolutely.